And welcome to JFP Sports, where fantasy and sports talk lives. Well, Rick, it's another great episode. This is our 20th episode, people. 20th. I am Puma, and this is Ricky P. We thank you all for listening, as always. And we are greeted by Mr. Hulk. Yes, we had one of our fans sent it in. I thank the Frankels for this lovely gift. He is staring me right now. They gave this out at the Jet game Sunday. Obviously, that didn't go too well. But Rick, what do you think? Look at the Hulk looking at us. He looks so big and strong.
You think this Hulk can block for Sam Darnold anytime soon? Because he
Holy
probably would take up two of the oncoming D linemen or blitzing linebackers, but maybe they can employ him. I hear he comes cheap.
It was a shunda Sunday. It was horrible. But first, we're going to get into our Pump the Brakes segment for fantasy guys out there. Rick, your Pump the Brakes player of the week for week number 8.
I'm going to just say Marlon Mack. More or less, I kind of like him this week, but I think going forward, he's one of those guys that, he had a nice week and people want to jump on him. We know running backs are kind of thin, but when we take a look at the league overall, I think Marlon Mack is someone that you can trade for a solid pick back or maybe another player. I saw a bunch of people were jumping on Jamal Charles too, then he got cut.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things like Jamal Charles has a name. People want a Marlon Mack number one running back, and I think somewhat productive offense when we really break it down. So, look, Marlon Mack, nice player, nice week. We'll probably have another good week again this week. I think he's going against the Oakland Raiders, I believe.
Cupcake matchup.
Yeah, right. So I like him this week. But overall, when D. Nanis brought this to us, and that was one of the questions I asked. I said, is it this week or going forward? I like him this week going forward. See if you can get something for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My Pump the Brakes candidate is Mr. Jarvis Landry. Not Tom Landry, Jarvis Landry. He had a great game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but D. Nanis could have a great game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, it's just something about Baker Mayfield. He spreads the ball around too much for me. That's great in real football, but in fantasy, you want the guy with the most volume. And I believe with Jarvis Landry's matchups coming up, I mean, they have the Steelers coming up. I believe they have Atlanta the following week. Those are great matchups to take advantage of, and definitely something where you could sell him as a high point. I believe in most PPR settings of fantasy leagues, Jarvis got 25, 26 points this past week. So if you're playing standard, you're living in another dimension. But for those PPR leagues, Jarvis Landry is a great option, and you could definitely trade for him right now. But going forward, the matchups are intriguing to other owners. For me, I feel because Baker Mayfield, rookie quarterback, you're going to start seeing him more now. He's getting exposed every week. There's tape on him, just like Sam Darnold. He's going to have those rookie mistakes, and that could kill Jarvis Landry's production. So I'm going to pump the brakes on Jarvis.
Yeah, two things. One, we had kind of said back and forth, I don't know if he got the 27. Mm-hmm. I think he actually did. I want to say he didn't because that's what we put the number at. I said he'd go under. You said he'd go over. And he got it most of those points in the fourth quarter,
right.
With game script, as we talk about. So
yeah.
I'll give kudos to you off air for telling me he went over. If it wasn't over, it was so close to the under that I'll still give you credit for it because it was a high number. Seriously, if we're talking like 21 or less, then I'm taking credit. But if it was like 26.5, I'll give you the credit for that because it was a high number to begin with. The other thing is when we talk about fantasy football, I should mention two things, but on the I use ESPN, you use I think Yahoo.
Yes.
It's kind of funny that we talk about standard versus PPR. It seems like PPR is the standard
right
now, and it's kind of ironic that we still talk about that. But that's a side note for something off the air. The other thing I want to bring up is at this point, I think all the trade deadlines are October 31st. I'm pretty sure, which is I think week 9.
Yeah, next Wednesday, I believe.
Right. So it'll be. So I'm sorry. After this week, so week 8 going into.
It used to be the week of week 8, by the way.
Right. Yes, so it's after week 8 going into week 9. It happens to be that Wednesday, which falls nicely right before the Thursday night game. Sometimes it's a little dicey just with dates and things. Right, it was a week earlier, depending on dates. Not enough people, I don't think, look into those matchups, what you're going to get week 13, 14, 15, and maybe 16 if you make that final. If you're playing into week 17, you shouldn't be playing fantasy football because all the good guys are sitting.
Right.
But at the same time, no, I think you're right. I don't think enough people look at those playoff schedules. And, at the end of the day, we talked about Marlon Mack. And we talked about Jarvis Landry. Marlon Mack will have the Texans down the stretch, the Titans down the stretch, and the Jaguars down the stretch. Pretty good defenses for the most part, especially if they have to go to Houston, go to Tennessee. Jarvis Landry, he's got the Steelers this week. He's going to have to face Baltimore again and Cincinnati again if they're they're going to be in the playoff hunt too. So we talk about these matchups. I think we both agree. I'll agree that Jarvis should pump the brakes. And what do you think of Marlon Mack?
I think you should pump the brakes on Marlon Mack because, like anything else, there's still Nadeem Hines in that backfield.
Who's the pass catcher?
He's the pass catcher. And you have Jordan Wilkins. Don't forget about Jordan Wilkins. Sleep on him. Yeah, he's not getting the touches right now. But as I learned in the NFL at the start of this year, which is probably every year, things change from week to week. And Marlon Mack could look like Jim Brown, and then the next week he looks like some poor schlub. So you see what I mean? It's a variation, and I believe it's all on the offensive play calling. It's all on the personnel that's out there, and if they bust one.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny that you bring that up. We have two different ends of the spectrum. You're pumping a brakes on the guy who's been a Pro Bowler, very, very productive,
right,
which is going out on a limb a little bit. I'm going to pump the brakes on a guy who just had a really good game for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny that usually we pump the brakes on a guy like Corey Davis.
Right.
Who's been around for a few years, but he's had a few weeks, and I finally got you to pump the brakes on him because he's been a no-show in that team.
After I traded him, by the way.
Right, no, after you traded him, which I had said, get rid of him. I've been saying that ever since he came into the league. The Titans are not a good team for offense. You can put Kareem Hunt back there. It's just not a good offense,
right?
Overall, right? And they win low scoring games. They're not going to throw it all over the yard. So at the same time, it's kind of ironic that you pick someone who's a perennial Pro Bowler. I don't think he'll be one this year, but he's very, very productive.
I think Marlon from the Mack, catch radius, he might, but at the same time,
it's going to be close.
You have to see who's delivering the ball because I think guys like that just squeeze in for the guys that are in the Super Bowl and need to be replaced.
And that's what it is. I mean, if it's the Rams Patriots, if we take a look, we kind of talked about this earlier. You look at the Patriots pass catchers that could be Pro Bowlers. You look at Edelman and you look at Gronk.
Right.
Maybe.
And maybe Gordon at the end.
Right, maybe Gordon the way he's playing, and a guy like James White as well, at the running back position. I think
James White is the best offensive tool on the Patriots
right, because he's had his injury issues. But then we look at the Rams, and they're loaded everywhere. Because, again, it's not AFC, NFC. Now they pick.
Right.
So it's Todd Gurley. You could be looking – I don't think Robert Woods is going to make it, but you might be looking at a Cooper Kupp.
Oh, definitely Cooper
Kupp.
And
maybe Brandon Cooks. Maybe. We'll see, but we already mentioned 5 or 6 guys, so that's where a guy like Jarvis might make it. Marlon Mack's not making it. No. Marlon Mack would have to have, I'm being serious, he'd have to have 1,000 yards for the rest of the season.
And right now we're all going off of 1 or maybe 2 outings. So
right, exactly. And the Colts, we know, want to throw the ball. And I think at the heart of hearts, letting go Carlos Hyde, I think Nick Chubb will actually, I'd rather have Nick Chubb than Marlon Mack going forward.
No, do you agree? You know why I do agree with that?
Because he's so explosive.
But it's not only that. Look at when I look at things from the spectrum, I look at opportunity's sake. Okay, there's nobody there to challenge Nick Chubb. There's only there to challenge
just
Marlon
Duke
Mack.
Johnson, and he's been terrible.
And Duke Johnson is the equivalent of Chris Thompson, which is just basically your PPR guy coming out of the backfield. Maybe you put him on a wheel route. Maybe they put him in the slot. But he's not going to pass you in touches.
He's like my Buck Allen.
Right.
But see, he's different than a guy like Kenyon Drake, who actually does get carries. Kenyon Drake, I think he's been averaging 8 or 9 carries, averaging 5 yards a game, and that really bothers me because he's so much more productive and so much more talented right now than Frank Gore.
Yeah.
And he's still underappreciated. He's averaging like 10 or 12 points PPR. Yeah. Meanwhile, the guy gets 8 touches a game. Yeah. But that's another story for another time.
I am totally obsessed with playing with the Hulk's head right now.
Yeah, again, maybe if you could teach him to block, maybe he could play.
He could be an asset for the Jets.
Moving forward, we'll get back to fantasy, sure, throughout the show. But let's talk about those New York Football Giants. They let go of Eli Apple. They let go of Damon Snacks Harrison, formerly of your New York Football Jets.
I loved him when he was here.
Great player. We know the Giants are going about this in some sort of fire sale way. Do you think this is the right way to go? Or do you kind of do not like what they've done? And if your ownership, do you say we let one good player, one okay player go? Basically what I'm asking is how would you go about this?
I think they're going about it the right way. I think they haven't gone to the extent that I would go.
So you'd go further.
I would go further. I'm selling everyone but Barkley and Odell Beckham.
So
and
I was going to say
basically Ogletree because they gave him the money.
So you have 3 untouchables. Everyone else is on
the block. Even Solder if I could. And the reason why I say that a Solder would be astronomically hard because you just signed him.
Right, because you just gave him the money.
Because if you look at, for instance, we're going to take Snacks Harrison. Okay, he has a $10 million cap hit at the end of the year. You don't want that cap hit, and you're going what? 2-14, 3-13, which is looking right now. So I believe you try to get rid of all your assets. You keep the foundation, which is Barkley and Odell. And I'm even going to the extent where Ricky's getting tired of me playing with.
He looks like he's Hulk. Yet it reminds me of Sam Darnold trying to protect themselves from 4 oncoming linemen. So we're gonna move Hulk. We're gonna give him back to Dean Nannis. So maybe Sam Darnold's healthy enough. The way you're fiddling with him, he won't even be ready for Sunday.
So yeah, back to my point. Definitely, I'm selling everyone but Barkley and Odell because those are the foundations. And why aren't we selling Eli?
Who the heck would want Eli?
We go down right to nice sunny Florida, and we
say to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And we say to Tommy Coughlin, listen, you got Blake Bortles and Cody Kessler.
Is that a legitimate upgrade? I'm going to cut you off.
Yes.
Is Eli Manning a legitimate Okay.
Over those 2 guys.
Well, then we haven't been watching the same Giant games. No, we haven't. We haven't done it. Did Eli not? Okay, Eli, I'll give him credit. I think he played his best game of the season versus the Atlanta Falcons. Odell Beckham actually looked.
I'll let you lay out your points,
like someone. No, that's my first point. My second point is: did Blake Bortles not get to the AFC Championship last year with the same sort of system? If you bring in a guy like Eli Manning, well, you're doing the same exact things. Are you not? Are you not dumping it off to TJ Yeldon and maybe someone like Keelan Cole or some of these other knuckleheads down there? Maybe if Leonard Fournette gets back, you don't have any weapons. Dede Westbrook? Yeah, he hasn't looked good since Baker Mayfield threw him the ball at Oklahoma. That's another guy. And then 2, who's their tight end? James O'Shaughnessy? I don't want to hear about these guys. What I want to hear about from Jacksonville is saying, look, Blake Bortles, we made you our guy. Figure it out. And Eli Manning is not the answer. Okay. You're replacing one loser for another loser.
The thing is, to me, okay, I'm a Jet fan, but
you think?
Eli is not a loser. I would take Eli any day of the week, his career, for Sam Darnold. I would say,
right now, you take Sam Darnold over Eli Manning.
No. Right now, I'm taking. I'm saying his career. I would hope that Sam Darnold would have Eli Manning's career.
He did lead
Tell me where to sign.
Well, Tell me where to sign. Well, he did lead the league
2 Super Bowls.
I think 4 years in interceptions.
But I'm not finished with my point.
With guys like Deshaun Kaiser playing quarterback and Brady Quinn playing quarterback.
I'm not finished with my point. Okay. So
Geno Smith playing quarterback.
That's number 1. Jeez. I would tell me where to sign on site. Number 2.
Well, is that because of the Super Bowls or just because you think he's good?
No, you didn't have the statistical value, but he did bring 2 Super Bowls, which a New York Jets franchise would be starving since 69.
He wouldn't have won a Super Bowl here in New York. Are you kidding?
He did with the Giants. You mean with the Jets?
Oh, there's no chance. The only time he could have done it was that one game versus Peyton Manning in Indy with Thomas Jones and that shutdown Jet defense.
Tell me
and
this.
That's about it.
Tell me this.
Maybe.
Tell me this. Yeah, well, 2010. What is it going into 11?
Yeah, I think that was it.
No Mark Sanchez. You put Eli with that team. Do we not go to the Super Bowl?
Over Peyton Manning? No.
No, this was when they were playing Pittsburgh.
No, because he's not better than Ben Roethlisberger.
I beg to differ because
the Steelers
Jet defense was so shut down. We're getting off topic.
Yeah, I don't know.
But let me go back to my point. Why the Jacksonville should be going out for Eli. Okay. Also, Eli what, when Eli won those championships, okay?
Over the Patriots in 2 fluke games, but continue.
Okay, but he still won.
He did. He won.
He had defense.
He did.
He had a great running game.
He did.
And he had offensive line.
He did.
Okay.
Just give me time to rebuttal.
I am. I'm trying to talk a little bit here. Jacksonville, okay, has all those things, but they don't have the quarterback, the timely throws. Blake Bortles is not Blake Bortles of last year, okay? Blake Bortles has lost himself again, okay? Now,
yeah, we agree. We agree there.
Rick, do we wait for the submarine to sink, or do we go out and get a savior? Do we go out and get a 2-time Super Bowl MVP?
Don't ask me now, because if I go, I'm not stopping.
What is the how could I say? What would be the drawback? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But it's Eli Manning.
What is the trade you're proposing? Eli for Blake Bortles straight up, or Eli for a pick? What are you proposing?
I'm saying Eli for a pick.
And what would that pick be?
The way things are looking, a 4th-round pick.
Okay.
A 4th-round pick.
Okay.
To save your season, Jacksonville.
I'm letting,
because you have the top flight defense.
I'm letting you finish before I get started. So you do what you need. You say what you need to do.
Of course, they have the top flight defense. They have the running game. When Leonard Fournette comes back, it is going to get better. Those receivers will get better playing off the running game. I think a lot of people are putting so much blame on Bortles. They haven't mentioned that Leonard Fournette hasn't played a game since what? Week 1? Week 2 maybe? I don't really remember, but
week 1. He got hurt week 1 against the Giants.
So that hasn't transpired either. So it's everything. It's usually a mixed bag of things. So I believe Jacksonville, go get your quarterback. He's in New York. And maybe a fresh start, a rejuvenation. He's with Tom Coughlin. He's with a Doug Marrone. Maybe that fresh start, new place, new feeling. He starts making a couple of throws. Leonard Fournette is in the backfield with TJ Yeldon. You got a Keelan Cole who isn't horrible. Maybe D.D. Westbrook becomes something better. You got a Dante Moncrief, a possession wide receiver. I know Shaughnessy doesn't knock your socks off. He's not Bavaro. But still, I believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars should go get Eli Manning. And to the fact that this rebuild stage for the New York Giants should go further. And Janoris Jenkins, I believe, is the next on the chopping block. To a team, and don't stop me, I could see him go to Philly. It doesn't matter at this point. You're just trying to get the best deal possible.
You done?
I'm done.
All right. This league is called the NFL, National Football League. The problem is the people who know football call it not for long.
Uh-huh.
So I think we know football. Well, I'll give myself credit. I don't think you know football. Or not as well as you think you do, at least. What has Eli Manning done for you lately?
Well, obviously not much.
No, that was a rhetorical question.
Okay, I know you're going to say probably nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Okay, fine, nothing. Haven't been to the playoffs in how many years? I think 4?
No, the last time they went was I
think 4 years
cruise. Ago. No, that was 2016. They went
so 3 years ago.
2.
No. 2016. We're in 2018.
Yeah, that's
3 seasons ago. No, they're not making it this year.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
No. I'm assuming.
So you're already going into 2019.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, I'm looking forward. It's a not for long lead. I like to look forward. Okay, so they haven't made it to the playoffs after this year because they're not making it. I don't care what Saquon tells me in his stupid car commercials or his interviews at Quest Diagnostic Center. Whatever he wants to tell me, they're not making the playoffs. Okay.
Right.
So Blake Bortles, as far as I know, did make the playoffs last year and almost beat Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady played a great game. So now we're going to break down the reasons why this deal doesn't make any sense. So, look, here. Jacksonville, you tell me they have a run game. I haven't seen Leonard Fournette play in a while.
That's TJ Yeldon.
Weren't you the guy who told me that TJ stood for total junk? Didn't we agree on that, I don't know, 4 weeks ago? Was that? We'll bring up the tape. Was that not you? Was that another Joe Puma? Okay, fine. The defense.
Did I say that? I don't even remember now. To be truthfully honest, I didn't mind TJ Yeldon.
Oh, right.
He's not Emmitt Smith, but you know.
He's not even Leonard Fournette. Forget about Emmitt Smith. Defense. Isn't this the same Jacksonville defense that gave up 40 points to, I don't know, the Dallas Cowboys? Is that not the same team? Is it? Yes or no?
No, absolutely.
Okay,
I'll give you that.
Okay, good. So Eli, you're telling me 4th round pick. Okay, fine. So the last quarterback that was traded was Teddy Bridgewater. And what did Teddy Bridgewater go to the Saints for?
I think it was a third. No, third.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Teddy, who's actually got a future in this league, according to his health reports.
But that's a backup.
No, I let you go. Teddy Bridgewater, who they think will be the future, that's why they brought him in. They didn't bring him in to back up Drew Brees. Went for a 3rd round pick. You're bringing in a guy in Eli Manning who, if the Giants saw a one-man rush, he'd still fall down. A one-man rush. Okay, that's good. So you're going 1 round further for Teddy Bridgewater, who's proven he's healthy and looked good in the preseason. And now I want to compare Jacksonville to the Cowboys. Okay, I don't know what Dallas is this season. You know what I do know Jacksonville is? A team that needs a quarterback. We talk about Dak Prescott. We don't know. He's buying himself time, Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. So, finally, what the Cowboys do is they look at the Michael Gallups. Cole Beasley, aside, who's a solid player. Allen Hurns, Terrence Williams, who's not even playing. I think Gavin Escobar, they're playing Rico Gathers, who was a basketball player at Baylor.
He's still raw. But
yeah. He's raw. He's never played college football. He's raw. Okay, good. That's a good argument the Cowboys made to their fans. So they bring in Amari Cooper. They bring in Amari Cooper for a 1st round pick. Uh-huh. Okay, at least when I look at Dallas, I say that's a team that finally is making a headline for the right reason. Maybe it was a lot to give up, but they bring in a guy who we don't know what his worth is because maybe they change it a little bit. The moral of the story is they have Ezekiel Elliott and they have a defense. And we don't even think that highly of the Cowboys. And Dak Prescott, who's clearly better than Blake Bortles. I don't think that's an argument.
I would hope so, yeah.
Right, so we look at the Cowboys who seem to be making an effort in a division that's here or there, and we'll get going. The Dallas Cowboys have Ezekiel Elliott. The Jaguars don't have Leonard Fournette. The Cowboys have a decent defense, pretty good. The Jaguars look like they're a shell of themselves. Now, granted, they've been on the field a lot because the offense is bad.
It's so bad, yeah.
Right, no. And they add Amari Cooper, the Cowboys, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have added Dante Moncrief in the offseason.
Yeah, no, listen,
so tell me how does this help Jacksonville?
What, getting Eli?
Yeah, if you told me, look, RG3 is on the block, I'll be much more inclined to give up a 4th round pick for RG3.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Is he not better than Eli Manning right now? Is he not better than Lamar Jackson? Yes or no?
Who?
RG3.
RG3 is better than Lamar Jackson?
I'm asking you. What do you think? Well, clearly the Ravens think so because he's
right. Okay, so we'll say Lamar Jackson.
So what I'm saying is they have him in position that if, knock on wood, Joe Flacco goes down, RG3 is ready to step in. Now, granted, the weapons for the Ravens, along with that stellar defense, much better than where the Jaguars and Giants sit. But you can make a trade for RG3 right now, and the Ravens would take it because they're not going to use him. So why would they go get Eli Manning? This is not a rhetorical question.
No. I believe they go get Eli Manning because it's something that the higher-ups know. It's something Coughlin knows. Coughlin's comfortable with. He knows Eli. I believe that Eli, when the last time Eli was ever anything, was around Tom Coughlin. I think Coughlin knows how to get to him.
Did he help Eli not lead the league in 3 or 4 seasons in interceptions? We'll have to get Dean Addis on that. Was Tom Coughlin playing defense against Eli?
No, absolutely not. I'm saying from an tangible standpoint, I believe Eli is best when he has an ultimate run game and a great freaking defense. And that's something that the Giants had in 12, and that's something that they had in 08, and that's why they won. I believe, people out there, I hope you believe that Eli is better than Blake Bortles right now. Right now, I would take Eli. Yes, I know he has a noodle arm. Yes, I know all of these things, but there's nothing that you could substitute for experience. You know, you want to tell me that Bortles has experience?
But don't you have to be good?
You know what? Peyton wasn't...
Then go get Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's got experience too.
Peyton was diminished his last year, was he not? And you're seeing the side effects of it coming to Eli, but with a lesser team.
Don't ever compare Peyton Manning to
No. I'm saying from a player standpoint.
Oh yeah. The decreasing value.
Right.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was gonna get you checked.
No. You could never compare the two. I'm saying from a
They
skill.
shouldn't even be in the same state.
Right. This in the same household.
Right.
Which
sorry, Archie Manning had to deal with the two of them.
How about fucking Cooper?
Yeah, Cooper Manning.
That dude's really out of it. But anyway, all I'm trying to say is, okay, you play off the run, and maybe you concoct a 2015 Denver Bronco team where you have the ultimate defense and you have that running game. You have a line. Okay, the receivers aren't Jerry Rice or Tim Brown. Okay, they're not, but they're doable. They are doable.
They're not even Sterling Shepard. I'd take Sterling Shepard would by far be the best wide receiver on that team.
So
it's not even close.
If you're Jacksonville, would you go to the length of saying Eli Manning and Sterling Shepard?
No, I would just go trade for Sterling Shepard. And I think the Giants would do it. According to you, he's touchable. We talking about untouchable versus...
Yep, he is.
Right, so why... You don't think the Giants would take a 4th-round pick for Sterling Shepard? Or maybe you have to bump that up to a 3rd? Because he's not worth a 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, because now you're giving Sterling and Eli.
No. You don't need to give Eli.
Oh, you don't want... Oh, you're talking about just Sterling.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Giants...
That helps both teams.
I think the Giants would be crazy enough asking for a 2nd-rounder.
All right, no.
They know you need the player.
Well, they don't need the player.
Right.
But last year, they didn't have the player. They had Allen Hurns. They didn't need him last year, and they don't need him this year.
But you want him. I think it would make a 3rd-round pick would be perfect.
Right, so I'm saying, but what I'm saying is...
Because think about it, the Browns gave up a 4 and a 5 for Jarvis to Miami, and Jarvis is head over...
Steal.
Jarvis is head over heels.
Well, that just goes to show Miami, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But
that's them always. But, we do have to move on. But, yes, on the fire sale of the New York Giants, I believe everyone and everything
I think
has
we
to
agree
go.
there, but I'm just saying if we look at a trade partner, if we say Jacksonville, because, look, I don't think Jacksonville's that far away. I think they can replicate what they did last year. But the problem is we look at the Patriots, we look at the Chiefs, we look at the Chargers who can score, and the Ravens are inconsistent, but we know they can score, and we look at the Steelers. The Jacksonville will not be able to replicate what they did last year. It was one of those defenses to me that seemed like they just caught fire. But let's move on to the other New York team because we know you have to talk about them.
Because the city is so big. So yes, so
full of losers. But, team so big with a team that can't win a football game. What are the Giants now? 1-5 or 1-6?
1-6.
It's good. So
I'll be selling the popcorn.
That's good. So the teams are 4-10. But sure, let's move over to the 3-4 team. With also no offensive weapons, but I told you about that.
Yes, we got to get to them. So yes, the Jets. We're moving to the Jets now. They look to rebound against the Chicago Bears. It was a poor showing at the Meadowlands against the Vikings this past weekend.
What did we talk about with the Jets? You get your hopes up 3-3. Oh,
and then they always let you down.
Card. I heard wild card in the news. No.
No,
you're not that out of your mind yet.
No.
They would have to beat the Vikings for you to say potential.
No, I probably wouldn't either because I'm so used to the letdown.
But you know better. I heard wild card. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins looked like he was playing on 7-on-7 out there. There was no pass rush, no nothing. Just Adam Thielen once again doing his thing.
Latavius Murray, he thought he was back in Oakland.
Right. Yeah. Meanwhile, speaking of guys I'd rather have Latavius Murray over Marlon Mack. But okay. Sure.
Definitely. It didn't look good last Sunday. So moving forward, but we do have to extend some prayers for Bilal Powell. He did get hurt, neck injury. There were some reports that said it was career ending. I just got a report that said he will play next year. And it's similar to Anua's.
It's always a little scary, though, when you hear career-threatening. Now, again, these guys are the best athletes in the world, so if someone can overcome it, it is them. But look, look at what happened to Ryan Shazier. Yeah. I don't think he's ever playing football again.
No, there's just some injuries that you just can't get over.
Right, we could even talk about worse, Eric LeGrand at Rutgers. I mean, he's permanently paralyzed from the waist down, so prayers go to Bilal Powell, who... I'm being serious. By far the best offensive weapon the Jets have. It's not. I agree with it. It's not even close.
I always loved Bilal as soon as he came out of Louisville. I think it was a 4th-round pick by the Jets
before Lamar was there.
Yeah, no, I think who drafted him? I think it was Mangini that drafted him. way back when.
Yes,
He's been there that
yes.
long. He's the longest tenured Jet.
Yes.
And I've always loved Bilal Powell, and lots of the Jets Nation do too, because Bilal always looked like he's trying.
No matter how bad it was.
The Jets would lose 10 in a row, 10 weeks in a row. But you know what? You knew that Bilal Powell, when he touched the ball, he was going to run. And he wasn't going to care what the score was, 30-0. He was going to run and try to always score, and our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, because that is rough, and I hope to see him next year, because that's one of my favorite Jets. But yeah, moving forward to the Chicago Bears. Rick, you're in the Matt Nagy system, all right? You got Trubisky, Tariq Cohen, Jordan Howard. What scares you the most? What's the X factor
for the Jets?
Yeah, who are you more worried about on the offensive side of the ball? If I am Darren Lee.
If I'm Darren Lee, or if I'm the Jets in general?
If I'm the Jets defense in general.
I believe it or not, I think this is a bounce back game for Jordan Howard. Mm-hmm. He's been disappointing, not a complete scrub. Yeah. So let's not say that. Tariq Cohen has taken. Look, Jordan Howard used to be a 25 touch running back a game, and Tariq Cohen sprinkled in. Now you see a lot of half and half. I think Matt Nagy has really stepped up in terms of letting Trubisky really throw the ball. And, they have Allen Robinson now. They didn't have him. They have, they have Taylor Gabriel, don't they?
Right. And then they have
Trey Burton.
Trey Burton.
So they brought in 3 new pieces to that team. And Tariq Cohen's gone better. I think Jordan Howard's the guy. Look, ultimately, I think the Bears want to play defense and run the ball and keep it on the ground. So I say Jordan Howard gets back.
Get it going.
Yeah, I think he gets it going.
Absolutely. Again. And for me, it's Trey Burton.
He's been on fire.
Watching the Jets for as long as I do and have, they always have problem with the tight end.
Rob Gronkowski, I think
terrorizes.
I think Rob Gronkowski would be the best offensive player in the history of football if he played the Jets 16 times.
And it's just stopping that big over the middle target. I believe Trubisky and Burton are going to have a game. I do not pick the Jets.
Don't say that. I'm playing Trey Burton this week.
Yeah,
I'm hoping. You know what I'm hoping? Maybe I'm right with Jordan Howard. Maybe the game gets so far out of hand they just run the thing.
Yeah. On the other side of the ball, I'm offensive coordinator. Who am I worried about on the Bears? And you know what? It's such a simple question, but who's your X factor? I mean, I know it's going to be.
No, I say it's not Khalil Mack, only because he's banged up. His ankle is struggling. I have the Bears defense this week.
Maybe I could chip him with a tight end.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he's going to draw you a double team no matter what. But there are times when a guy like that draws a double team, it's like, all right, we're drawing. He's got a double team and he's still getting by, and it's like, all right, we don't know what to do. You can actually probably stop him now with a double team because he's on a bum ankle. I think their big guy. I think it's Prince Amukamara.
The corner, yeah.
A former
young
Giant.
Quarterback.
Right. I think young quarterback. I told you Sam Darnold would lead the league in interceptions.
You did. And I fully believe that he's like a Jameis Winston kind of where he gives up the ball a lot.
That and the Bears have struggled their last 2 weeks at Tennessee. At Miami when Brock Osweiler, I think he threw two passes for 2 yards. They turned into touchdowns courtesy of, I think, Albert Wilson. He did the whole thing himself.
Hakeem Grant.
Right, and Jakeem Grant.
Grant, yeah.
And then, so I think they were literally like an out route, a 2-yard out route they turned into touchdown. And then last week, Brady shredded them. So I think they're fine. They're going to get back. They're home. They're coming off a poor effort. Special teams touchdown, poor effort to the Patriots. I think they come back, and I think they demolish the Jets.
Folks, I think the up-and-coming defense for this year and years to come are the Chicago Bears.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you look at Denver, right, and you see that pitiful game against the Chosen Rosen where you had Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. I believe Chicago Bears have something similar with Roquan Smith. And
he hasn't been as great as
advertised, but I think I think this is his coming out party. I believe Roquan Smith is the X factor, especially with that line. Lining up in the 3 technique, getting on that right tackle, left tackle. I believe that he's just going to cause havoc because the offensive line for the Jets is so bad. I mean, Spencer Long, their center, just had a putrid game Sunday. Putrid. You had penalties. You had missed blocks.
There wasn't one guy who played well.
Well, and Carpenter. I like Carpenter to an extent, but he's not good either. Brian Winters, horrible. Beecham, throw them in the garbage. So it's just all these guys.
Are those name of clothing companies? Winters, Beecham?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I've never. Shoot, I don't even.
It's like an Amazon catalog.
Yeah,
but,
seriously.
Yeah, no, I believe they will wreak havoc on the Jets. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but also too, when you were saying about Mukamara, you have I don't know if Anua's back. I think Anua's still out. You don't have any Terrell Pryor. Oh, and latest news, they signed Rashard Matthews, who that's what I want, a quitter on my team. But, really, I'd rather, you know what, Rick, for that matter, I'd rather go sign Dez Bryant. I'm dead serious, because if I'm going to go... No, I'd rather Dez Bryant.
Because of the locker room issue.
Oh, but, okay, is this guy any different? His just name is Rashard Matthews.
That's the difference. Dez Bryant all of a sudden is going to have all the media. Rashard Matthews is going to be sitting there. You know what he's going to ask? He's going to ask the equipment manager where he can go get his Skittles. Or Snickers. That's the difference. For someone like Dez Bryant, all of a sudden you're going to have cameras.
Right, you have a little more
signed.
of a
It's not worth
figure.
it. Right, it's not worth it.
I see that point. It's just I feel that the Terrell Pryor thing is still speculatory to me. The guy had a groin issue and they released him. I don't know what went on there.
Terrell Pryor?
Yeah,
and they said they're going to try to re-sign him.
Yeah, but
they could sign him for less. Because
that matters,
right? It won't matter.
Yeah, really. I know it's not my money, but Jesus, and I wouldn't see Terrell Pryor on so many plays. Jets fans, out there that the most you would see Terrell Pryor is actually in the red zone, and I think they would try to use him as a tight end. But I think someone has emerged as Sam Darnold's favorite target,
Chris Herndon,
Chris Herndon,
Chris Herndon.
Actually, did they get him in the second round? Or the third round. But the third round. I remember that. I think Chris Herndon will be an X factor for the Jets, hopefully on offense, because Darnold loves going over the middle to him.
Good. The Jets fandom, even Hulk is upset with your comments. 2 points on the Jets. One, we sit here, and now on a serious note, we'll call it halfway through the season. The Jets by far have the worst skill position group.
Right now?
Who's worse? Give me a team that's worse.
The Bills?
No, because they have LaShawn McCoy. Who's worse?
Can't say Arizona other than
No.
David Johnson.
Larry Fitzgerald. I think Christian Kirk on a real team could be something. Okay, who's worse?
Let's see.
Okay, good. The answer's 0.
No. I was trying to think for you.
Seriously,
It's pretty bad.
It's much worse than you anticipated. Maybe they're not the worst.
Maybe the Colts are bad too, but
they have T.Y. Hilton, and they have a few running backs there.
Yeah, no, and especially with Powell down.
Ebron and Jack Doyle when he comes back, they're not the worst. They're not the worst.
San Francisco.
Well, no.
Goodwin, you got Garcon.
And Kittle.
Trent Taylor.
And Kittle.
Kittle.
Well, it's not even that. And they lost Jimmy. And they lost who else?
Jimmy G. Oh, what's his name? The running back, McKinnon.
Right, and Jerick McKinnon. So they're not. We're talking about going into the season, not where we stand now. Going into the season, I told you they were the worst. I'll let you think, but they're still the worst. They're still the worst. Chris Herndon? They're still the worst.
Kid's going to be
okay. And even if you want to say Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott's by far better than anyone the Jets have. So,
right, okay.
Okay, so if I'm the Jets, right now, the fact I'm 3-4 is a borderline miracle. I said 5 or 6 wins. I still think they'll be at 5 or 6 wins, but it's a borderline miracle. This weekend, they have no chance. It's supposed to be raining, wet. The last time they played 2 games, they played outside. They're 3-4. They've had 4 home games, right? I believe the Dolphins, the Colts, the Vikings, and the Broncos. On the road, the first game was in Detroit on the turf, inside. That was the game they won. Then they had a game versus the Browns. Didn't win that one. That was the Thursday night game where Baker showed up, Baker Mayfield, and then the other one was Jacksonville. So they played 2 true road games outside in weather, not on the grass, not on the nice turf they have at MetLife Stadium, and they haven't really played well in either of them. It's supposed to be raining, nasty, windy, Chicago, Windy City, Bears, big. Bears 31-14.
I can't disagree with you. I can't.
I don't like this spread, though. It's a little high.
It's a little high,
but
it's
7.5, 8. I don't like it.
What got me like that was that Jacksonville game, and I think the Bears are better than Jacksonville right now. So I think it's going to be a rout by the halftime.
I'm calling it now. Oh, you have a fumble for a touchdown, a pick for a touchdown, or a special team.
McPhee too is good.
Oh, don't tell me about Pernell McPhee. Loved him on the Ravens.
I loved him too. He's very underrated.
Very underrated. But
moving on. We're gonna give a little break to football, and we have to realize that there is a World Series playing. I know we play in New York. We talk in New York and talk in the tri-state area, but there is a World Series playing, Boston and LA. And Rick, my question to you is, what have we learned? What do you like, and what have we learned from Game 1 and Game 2?
We've learned that Alex Cora is the better manager. We've learned that the Red Sox are the better team. And we learned that Dave Roberts really needs to get his head out of a book and play Cody Bellinger. No. For the purposes of the air, I'm not going to. Max Muncy, first half MVP, not playing. Cody Bellinger, NLCS MVP, not playing.
I think
Jock Peterson,
analytics
not playing.
Are just overwhelmingly.
And that's the issue. We've seen Chris Sale close out a game. We've seen Rick Porcello. We've seen Nathan Eovaldi. But Cody Bellinger, who's the NLCS MVP, can't start? Okay. You know what that's like saying? That's pretty much like saying, well, LeBron, we're not going to play you too many minutes tonight because analytics tell us you can't play back-to-back. So, what we're going to do? We're going to start Kyle Kuzma ahead of you. And LeBron, but you'll play 10 or 12 minutes, though, because the analytics say you should play. Okay, no, that's good. That's good. So maybe the analytics, the guy who's sitting up in section 904 with a book calling down or whatever the heck the Dodgers are doing, maybe who's probably making $6 million while the manager's making $1 million, maybe they can call down to Dave Roberts and when the series is over and they get swept, or maybe stretch it to 5, someone can ask, Dave Roberts, Dave, what happened? Why didn't you start Cody Bellinger? And he'll look up in the skybox all the way up in wherever the heck this guy is reading a book, and they're going to say, oh yeah, why didn't we start Cody Bellinger? What did we learn? We learned that the Dodgers don't know what they're doing, and Alex Cora is supremely a better manager. They're not that much more talented, I don't think.
Fella,
what did you learn?
I agree 100% with
it gets me riled up talking about this.
Too?
This isn't even the World Series. The Dodgers aren't playing any better than the San Francisco Giants.
Brian Roberts, okay, he's gotten the ball.
Dave Roberts.
Oh, God.
Brian Roberts. What is he? What are we talking about? Baltimore? The second baseman for the Orioles?
David Roberts. Yeah, they stink so bad I can't even remember his name. Anyway, this guy had his son make the lineup for the All-Star game. That just tells you where we're coming from. I just want to put that up there.
Well, it's an All-Star game. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but even that lineup sucked. And you have all the studs. Anywho, to my point now. I feel as if you have a first baseman that got you, pretty much there.
Right, Max Muncy, right?
I think, Max Money Muncy, I believe, had a greater impact than Manny Machado. I believe...
Oh, he was a spark. First half MVP.
He was a spark. Before Max Muncy came up, what were the Dodgers doing? They were in second to last place, next to the Padres, doing Ugats.
Well, you don't have to tell me. I'm the one who told you that they'd be in the World Series a long time ago.
No, you did. You called it, rightfully so.
Right, you were giving me the Rockies. So they couldn't get 3 outs.
But now they can't play upstate Muncy because your boy. Because why? Because there's a lefty on the mound. You don't
have to tell me every other day.
The analytics are making these smart men stupid because now it's so analytical. Why do I even need Dave Roberts? You and I could have made that.
That's what I'm saying. Dave Roberts is probably making $1 million, and you got some guy. Like I told you, section 904, all the way up probably in the parking lot, saying, oh, well, what does the book say? What do the analytics say?
This game is becoming...
Back-to-back nights. Meanwhile, these guys get days off now with the World Series.
Yeah,
schedule.
I just didn't agree with that. Obviously, the lineup was atrocious. And Kershaw pitched well to a certain point. But how about the Dodger bullpen? You had Ryan Madsen in Game 2. He comes in. He's a schmuck. All right? That's number 1. Number 2, you had Ryu pitch his heart out. He gets taken out. And now Boston is just feasting on all these guys. I always say to people, and they think I'm crazy, the AL has the better pitching and the better hitters. And I say that because...
I don't believe that.
Because the pitchers have to pitch against one of the best hitters, 9 men all the time, DH. Other than Kershaw in the National League.
Who struggled again.
Who struggled. might I add, against an American League team. Or a DeGrom or a Scherzer. Other than those top guys, everybody else in the National League, they play in an AL park, they are getting crushed. Jake Arrieta, what did he do all those years in Baltimore? Get crushed. He went to the National League.
Well, that's not fair.
He figured it out.
That's not fair.
But you see the difference in National League ball compared to American powerhouse ball. You're pitching against maybe 2 less hitters. Let's not forget, people, the catcher in the National League is not Yasmani Grandal. It's not Buster Posey. It's not Wilson Contreras. Other than those 3 guys, tell me another guy that's really good catcher.
Who's the catcher in the AL that you're so fearful of?
Okay, he didn't have a great year, but Gary Sanchez.
I don't want to hear about Gary Sanchez.
But I'm saying
the guy hit 180. I don't want to hear about him.
I'm saying monster guys. Okay, even you could
him.
Make a darn case for Mike Zunino from the Seattle
Mariners. The National
Mariners.
League catchers are better than the American League catchers, but continue.
You could definitely make a case for
who? Yan Gomes, Evan Gattis, Sandy Leon. I don't want to hear about the AL catchers. Guys you didn't even know.
Again.
I don't want Robinson Chirinos for the Rangers. I don't want to hear about
the AL.
The NL catchers are better. Are the NL catchers better? That was your point.
The AL teams are more heavy powerhouse hitting teams. So now these NL pitchers come into an American League ballpark. Well,
what are we learning? We're trying to give the fans a lesson.
Right. What I'm learning is the National League sucks. That's what I'm trying to say. The National League is weak.
They don't suck.
They are weak.
Dave Roberts is making the Dodgers look weak.
If the Dodgers were playing the Colorado Rockies for the World Series, which wouldn't happen, but I'm just saying, and we didn't have a National League or NL, whatever, AL, ANL, the Dodgers would kill them. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. One league is predominant over the other, and if the New York Yankees were in the same spot, they would be crushing them too.
But we knew that going into the season.
If the Houston Astros were in the same spot, they'd be crushing them too. I would go to the length that maybe even the Oakland A's...
But you're not teaching anyone anything.
Even the Oakland A's would be crushing the Dodgers.
We're not learning anything. We said at the beginning of the playoffs when Dean Annis gave us the question... Which league is better and who's going to win the World Series? We took the Yankees, we took the Astros, we took the Red Sox or the Indians over any NL team.
Well, to your point, Brian Roberts is not.
Dave Roberts.
I can't get it
Brian
right.
Roberts is not a manager.
I can't get it right.
Dean Annis he must have spiked your drink.
Dave. Yeah, Dave Roberts stinks. And the only reason why he's gotten there twice... I
used that. I already told them that
Okay,
lesson.
I can't agree with you.
You asked me what I learned.
I can't agree with you. Yeah, I asked you what you learned.
Right, and I said I learned...
Yeah, get me the drink.
No, I said I learned that Dave Roberts is playing the analytics game.
Oh, jeez.
You're just telling him something they already just learned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the paper.
Moving on. Yeah. All right, so if we're going to go back to the NFL...
Thank God.
Yeah, this World Series has been utterly disappointing, as it should be. It's 100... all things serious, it's a 108-win team. They're the best team in baseball. The way the Benintendi catch in Houston and then Mookie Betts and right, it kind of things are going that way. Deadline deals. Give me a guy who you think is going to be on the move and it can make an impact. Fantasy wise and real life football.
Actually, this was on defense, and which could probably relate to fantasy, but It would have been Patrick Peterson a day ago, but now there's
to who?
To Philly because
Philly.
I believe Philly is so weak at corner this
which
year.
is so ironic.
It is. But Darby
so
hasn't
good.
played up to it, and Sidney Jones has been hurt from Washington University. But I believe now that Peterson has basically taken himself out, wants to stay.
It was weird. He asked for a trade, then they say they're not trading him, and then he comes out and says he doesn't want to be traded.
He probably had to sit down with Larry Fitz. But anyway, Mr. Arizona.
He didn't have a talk with Rosen, otherwise
but,
he would have been out.
For me right now, I'm gonna stick to it, and I had mentioned it. Janoris Jenkins. I believe Janoris Jenkins.
Jackrabbit?
Yep. I think he will move to Philly, and I believe they have such a need, and the Giants are just trading even the vending machine right now. So why not? Janoris Jenkins to the Philadelphia Eagles, and I believe that'd make a great impact, and you could possibly see them back in another championship game.
If I had to pick one person, I say, and I've said this for a while, I say Le'Veon Bell goes.
Wow. You think they've had
And
enough?
I'm going to go to the Eagles too.
Wow.
They did it with Jay Ajayi. You know what? Look, James Conner, everyone says he's not Le'Veon Bell. He's not this. He's not that. He's had more yards from scrimmage through the first 6 games. I think they played only 6 games. I think they're 3-2-1. Can we get D Nanis on that? I think they're 3-2-1. He's had more yards from scrimmage than Le'Veon Bell. So at some point, we need 3-2-1. We need to look at Pittsburgh and say maybe they're better off without it, because the minute he gets there, Le'Veon this, Le'Veon that. Where have you been? Where do you want to go? When they're actually trending in the right direction.
Well, Le'Veon Bell does not play defense. How about getting some linebackers? How about getting a corner?
Well, you asked for one guy.
No. I'm just saying to Pittsburgh, they want to put it all on Le'Veon Bell.
Oh yeah. You asked me for
no. I'm just saying. For Pittsburgh's standpoint, I believe.
So you're saying they're better off going after a defensive guy,
right? Defensive guy, try to shore up something.
Well, we're going the other way. I'm saying ship Lev Bell out to get a pick back. You're saying go get someone and ship a pick out. So we're looking at two different.
Right. I'm thinking of more.
You think they need defensive help because Artie Burns has struggled this year.
Right,
and he's been much better. This is his 3rd year. He's not doing too well this year.
A guy I could think that would be out there. You know what? Bruce Irvin. Go get Bruce Irvin from the Raiders.
The Raiders are getting rid of everyone anyway.
They're selling everyone anyway, so you might as well send a
Speaking of Raiders, if you're Jacksonville, what is, on a scale of 1 to 10, and how much you like this, going after Derek Carr?
I love it.
So you're a 10.
I'm 25 if we had the Raider there.
Well, I'm happy you listened to my 1 to 10 scale.
But no, that makes sense. It's just I don't see them doing it because then
the Raiders,
Oakland. Because I think basically, we know you're throwing in the towel, but now once you trade the quarterback, you're losing fans now. You're losing fans, especially now. Okay, they might have to spend another year.
But the Raiders have already proven to you that they don't care. Whether it's the Raiders,
but Rick, let me ask you. Right, you could have all the picks in the world. The Jets have had them.
Well, maybe they're trying to get these picks to acquire other talent. That's the thing people forget. They're not just going to have 15 picks in one draft.
No, absolutely.
I'm not accusing you of saying that.
No. I agree with that point. I just don't agree to the extent of selling the foundation of Derek Carr because it's so hard to find.
I believe in him.
I believe in him as well.
It doesn't look like Gruden does, though.
I believe it'll take some time. Gruden's system isn't the easiest to learn. And you have to have the player personnel. You have to have, you have Marshawn Lynch coming in and off, which I think, if not, he's on the IR, which that means you're out for 8 weeks.
Yeah, he's out. If you had him in fantasy, you get another running back.
Get rid of him.
And if you're a Raider fan, look for Jalen. Yeah, well, and look for Jalen Richard because you're not going to. And I'm going to guess Marshawn's out for a while. They won't even play him the rest of the season. Yeah, that's my guess because it'll be like a game or two.
Yeah, I think Gruden is just churning this thing to Vegas. He's just looking forward to Nevada. So moving forward is our pick segment. Okay, and Rick, what's your wager game of the weekend?
I'm going to go the Redskins over the Giants. Look, I'm going to when a team.
What is it right now?
-1.
Yeah.
When a team is so bad like the Giants are, just look for the other team. And also, it's a pick'em, or close to a pick'em. The Redskins have actually been pretty good this year. Mm-hmm. Like that's a team that no one talks about.
Yeah, I love the defense. Ryan Kerrigan,
and Alex Smith is an upgrade for Kirk Cousins for that team. Kirk Cousins is an upgrade for...
They really built that interior. Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen both from Alabama 2 years in a row. I really love that interior. And Josh Norman is playing at a Pro Bowl level this year, believe it or not. He's actually come back to form as the top corner.
And they've been without Chris Thompson. They've been without Jamison Crowder. So Jordan Reed's still a nice little asset. Adrian Peterson's been okay. So I think the Redskins are the team to take this week over the struggling.
And my pick of the weekend is, yes, it's the Monday night matchup, the New England Patriots. I am taking the -14. I know it sounds crazy, but you got Derek Anderson in there. You're probably starting with This
is like the worst matchup of the season.
You're probably starting with what's his name? Pierce Ivory in the backfield.
Oh,
you have no receivers. Kelvin Benjamin doesn't even want to be there. He wants to be on a lake somewhere, sipping mojitos. So
this is going to be tough.
Definitely, that is going to be a rough game.
I'll say it for your sake. Over under 41.5 points scored by New England.
Over.
That's a pretty high number.
I know, but they're
It seems, you know what it
bad.
seems? It seems like a matter of how many points they really want to score. It's one of those things, like if it's 28-0 in the third quarter, do they just run it with James White and whoever? Because I don't think Sony Michel will be back there. Run it with whoever. If they continue to put on points, I agree with you. You could see like a 42-7 type game, or 45-13, or it could get ugly.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I just don't love 14 points. That's a lot.
No, I mean, okay, Gronkowski's back. Who's stopping him? Edelman.
The only one you should be without is Sony Michel.
Yeah, and they need him.
Gordon.
You know what? Well. I actually, my starter of the week, which we'll get to. Right now, I really love Kenyon Barner.
Yeah, he's a nice plug and play.
He's a nice plug and play. I have, for you Zeke owners, I have Zeke out because it's a bye week, week 8.
Are you playing Kenyon Barner?
No, I'm playing him.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, because my other option would have been Austin Eckler. He's on a bye as well. So, yeah. and the third option was Wendell Smallwood, and I don't like his touches right now. So I believe the game will be
another guy I told you not to trust.
So the game, I believe, will be so out of hand. Is basically I am trying to go by game script in my head that it'll be such a blowout. You're not going to see James White by the third fourth quarter, and you're not.
Your best hope is that it's such a blowout.
Kenyon Barner is just getting every touch
because
to kill the clock.
And they know he won't play when so that if he gets 20 touches and he gets banged,
he's bound to knock one in.
Right. I'd be shocked if it's such a blowout, which we're assuming it is. That Kenyon Barner's doesn't have double-digit fantasy points.
I'm calling Kenyon Barner 2 touchdowns.
No chance.
2 touchdowns. Under 2 touchdowns. I'm saying over.
Well, you got to make it a half.
Okay, so 2.5.
2.5?
No, I mean 1.5. I'm sorry.
No, I'll still take the over.
I'm taking the over. Okay, next week.
So we said 41.5 points and a touchdown and a half.
But let's do the touchdown because we'll remember this more.
Okay.
If I win, what are you willing to get me? Are you willing to give me a little pastrami on rye? Are you willing to give me a knish? Give me a knish?
Whatever you want.
With a little mustard on the side.
Whatever you want.
If I lose, what would you like, my friend?
I might need...
High chew? You want a high chew?
I might need a high chew.
You want a high chew? I'll get you a high chew.
For all of you, for the people who listen to the show, high chew is a nice little candy we have that's fortly known. And it's a treat. I love it. There's a lot of sugar in it, but it's a treat. So,
peach.
Yeah, so that's between Mr. Puma and I, but
peach and banana. Yeah.
No, that's it. Look, I like the Redskins. I love the Patriots to win, obviously, but just the 14 scares me a little bit. But no, that's a game I like too.
Yeah. Okay. So that was our game picks for the week. Now, I had given you Kenyon Barner as a start. Who do you like? Off the top of your head, Rick, we didn't plan for it, but we want to get in this last 5 minutes. Who do you like as your start of the week?
Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
And he had a really nice week last week. I'm not playing him this week.
Okay.
Because I get Kareem. I still have Kareem Hunt and James Conner off the bye. But I'm going to say Kenyon Drake. He does so much with the few touches that he has. So, sure, why not? Kenyon Drake. Play him. If you have him, play him.
And Miami Dolphins, Houston Texans tonight. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Miami on the road.
Ooh, Brock Osweiler returns to Houston.
Yeah, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's looked okay. I'm
going to say this is another terrible game. And
overall, I think it's a bad game. If you watch something else, if you have something on.
You know what I watch? I like watching Watson. I think Watson hits
Meanwhile, he's
Nuke
been
Hopkins
terrible
for
this
2
year.
times.
Deshaun Watson's been terrible
I say great game for Nuke Hopkins, 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. All right, yes.
I'm very high on my guys today.
Yeah.
So, folks, in conclusion, please subscribe to JFP Sports on YouTube channel where you can listen to us weekly. My condolences. Add us on IG, and you could always DM us your questions. We'll always answer them on air. That's at JFP Sports. In the great words of Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Till next time, folks.